Coming to you from the most gentrified city in America, it's the fastest hour on Portland Community Media. I'm Alex Ansary, and this is Outside the Box, edition 340 for February 15th, 2015. And what a show we've got planned for you tonight. Please forgive my voice, it's a little hoarse. You'll find out why in just a little bit. Like in most shows, we're going to start with local news and then work our way up from there. You know, it's been about a year since I've moved back to Portland, and I have seen so many of my concerns and my projections and other things come to fruition in this city. And while some people might be a little resistant to take what I'm saying seriously when they first hear it, here I am a year after coming back to Portland, and it's being reported by the media that Portland is now the most gentrified city in all America. Also, Al Jazeera has reported that it's also the whitest city. It's also a city #1 in child sex trafficking. It's also a #1 city when it comes to alcoholism and AA meetings. This city of my birth is a city that I care about. That's why I bring up some of these issues that relate to social ills and society today. So, without further ado, our first video comes from Coin 6. Study, Portland is the fastest gentrifying city in the U.S.
And that is according to a new study released by Governing Magazine. And tonight, we're digging deeper into their numbers and asking if Portland's development has been a good or a bad thing.
We can certainly make both arguments. There are some once troubled neighborhoods that are now thriving. But this study argues that change has come with a heavier cost here than anywhere else in America.
Nice coffee shops, good people around, good vibes.
Emily Fong lives in North Portland.
Absolutely.
Loves Alberta Street and is very aware of how much it's changed.
Change and growth is sort of what we do, whether that's good or bad is an individual's opinion.
I found a new study released by Governing Magazine that says Portland is gentrifying faster than any other city in the country. Money, development, and wealthier people moving into once downtrodden neighborhoods. Those who have long lived there priced out.
I think it's been a buildup of policies over the last 20-25 years. There's no one single event.
Victor Merced is with Portland's nonprofit Hacienda CNC and has taken heat for pointing out both the good and the bad in these neighborhood changes.
Now, I do want to say that gentrification is kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you increase investments in neighborhood, but on the other hand, there are folks that have lived there and have grown families, gone to school, and have invested in these neighborhoods, and they're being displaced.
One-time crime-ridden neighborhoods like North Mississippi Ave are now thriving, but at a cost. The president of the NAACP in Portland says Portland has become a city for the rich, forcing the low-income all east of 82nd Avenue. And amidst a development controversy last year, the mayor and Portland Development Commission sent a letter admitting PDC policies have contributed to the destructive impact of gentrification and displacement.
It was kind of a benevolent approach to development, and yet, you know, there was this one equation that was lacking, and that was community involvement.
Some have actually taken issue with how Governing Magazine computed those results, arguing the way that they ruled Portland, this most quickly gentrifying area, is flawed. But no matter what those statistics are, the mayor has pledged $20 million towards affordable housing in Portland and has acknowledged that in his mind this is a problem.
So the reality of the situation is a lot of this has been manufactured through advertisements, through the Portlandia TV show, which has signed on for another 2 seasons. What does that mean for us? That means that this infomercial called Portlandia, convincing people to move here, and there are many people that have moved here that saw a TV show and thought that life was like what was portrayed in the TV show. And so they came to Portland seeking that lifestyle. And that's why there's a lot of people here that seem really more into this fake version of what the city represents than the reality of what is actually happening. And the reality of what is happening is massive displacement of people that were born here, people losing their homes, and I don't really see a lot of empathy from those that have moved here from Southern California and the East Coast that are used to really high rents. So I've noticed that this will lead to more racial tensions and, of course, more local businesses being pushed out. It's changed the attitude. The friendly, small town feel of Portland is changing as more big city folk move to the city and bring their values and things of that nature, incorporating them and blending them in with the traditional Portland culture. So the culture of Portland is changing. There's also the reality of more crime that goes with flashing more bling. So as more money comes into the city, people with nicer cars, things in their cars, nicer homes, things of that nature, there is that criminal element that goes along with that when people are showing off what they have. And I think with a lot of gentrification, we're going to see a lot more sex work and more monetization of human affection, which is our topic in the second half of the show. It's also fairly problematic for those that are looking for work or low income during recessions and depressions, especially those in the service industrial complex, because this is a city that produces nothing and consumes everything. So long-term down the line, with a large population in the city, it could be fairly problematic for a lot of people. Public safety, affording rent, things of that nature. Portland's also a city where we're starting to see more rules. Going to the next video, Portland Park's smoking ban is being debated at this time.
Smoking would be illegal outside at all city parks and along the trails.
The council is actually speaking on this issue right now. Our Joel Iwanaga is live at City Hall with reaction. Joel.
Well, Ann and Jeff, good afternoon to you guys. City leaders tell me that a proposed smoking ban comes down to two things, really, and that's the health and safety of our children who use these parks. Well, City Council, as you mentioned, discussing this issue right now in council chambers. If council approves the ban, then all city parks, including trails and natural areas, would be tobacco-free starting July 1st. Any violations, I've learned, could result in a citation all the way to exclusion. Commissioner Amanda Fritz tells me the ban would include e-cigarettes, cigars, smokeless tobacco, and marijuana. Another concern are wildfires caused by lit cigarette butts.
Cigarettes have started fires at Oaks Bottom Wildlife Refuge, Springwater Corridor Trail, and Markham Nature Park.
I've learned that more than 500 cities nationwide have similar smoking bans
it's stories
in place.
Like this and others that make Portland look like it's going to be this future Agenda 21 style mecca. And, you know, I understand some of the environmental concerns, but, you know, Portland's green-friendly status is really in question at this time. There's a propane company, by the way, that has moved into the Portland area, and that has completely taken away Portland's status as a leader in fighting quote-unquote man-made caused global warming, as it's referred to in the media and by the United Nations. So when you have a propane plant that's emitting emissions, you know, Portland wants to have this title of being a certain way. Portland no longer in reality has that title with that reality taking place. Now this is an interesting story. Well, but before we go into that, I want to play video 4, and let's bring down the audio a little bit because there's a lot of profanity in video number 4. But the reality is, going to number 4, there are many homeless on the streets of Portland. This was filmed back in September, and what we're going to have to do is scroll through this because it's a 20-minute video. So moving forward and going through it, there's a lot of homeless that are camped outside City Hall. And the reason why there are so many homeless that are choosing to camp outside City Hall is to send a message that there really is nowhere for them to go. And this has been an ongoing issue. And despite the facts that, you know, the reality that you're reading in the media, they're trying to find places to put the homeless and, you know, they're thinking about tiny homes for the homeless. That's all PR. That is all PR. In reality, there are, and this is a video of a man being arrested for yelling at the police. He stepped onto the street, if you will, as he was yelling at the police. And so they decided to arrest him for standing in front of a police car. So he wasn't violent. He didn't do anything. They were sweeping the people off the street, but he took him down because he was standing in the street and they wanted to cite an ordinance. So that's selective enforcement, and this is the dark aspect of Portland, the underbelly that a lot of people don't see in the light of day. And the greater reality, I'm going to cut to solutions real quick before we get to the next video. I've mentioned this in other shows. If Portland had a building center somewhere for men and women to go and work on things, be it manufacturing, building, media, and other things. Maybe they can learn acupuncture. Maybe there could be some sort of other form of physical therapy or therapy available outside the box of central city concern and things of that nature. But the reality is what we've got is a massive bureaucracy within the city of Portland where they've created jobs to supposedly help the homeless, but those jobs aren't for the homeless. They're for people that are supposedly, trying to help by, shuffling papers here and there. And, it's just a large bubble. And so many tax dollars are funneled into these organizations, Central City Concern. And the fact of the matter is there's a lot more money that could be tapped for a building project or a place where people could be productive with their time. And I think that if that was offered to people that really wanted it, it could really help people psychologically that are suffering in these streets, in this city that is #1 gentrified in all the U.S. And I think this is really important. I think it's humane for us to provide something like this because the money is available. Now, having said that, we need to talk about jobs. There's some major news taking place with the Port of Portland. A major shipping company out of South Korea is going to be pulling out March 9th, unless, of course, they change their mind. Now, the real reason why they're doing this isn't known, and we could speculate. Is this being done, before we go to that, to make America more dependent on China now that this South Korean company is pulling out? Because we're going to see an increase in prices because of this pullout from the shipping company. They're now going to go to Seattle. That means all Oregon businessmen and women that are involved in the import and export business are going to have to ship their goods up to Seattle and down to California, places like San Francisco, paying more money, and you're going to see more trucks and trains transporting things. Again, knocking down Portland's title as #1 city in fighting climate change or global warming. No. In reality, with this recent development, there's going to be much more traffic on I-5. So with that, go ahead and roll it.
A devastating blow to Portland's economy. These shipping containers are full of goods, but they're not coming here anymore. The largest importer to the city says our port is just too slow. Welcome to KOIN 6 News at 11. I'm Ann State.
I'm Jeff Gianola. Tonight we found out this is going to mean hundreds of job losses and higher prices on all kinds of items. Here are the facts. Hanjin makes up 78% of container traffic at the port. Without Hanjin, 657 people could lose their jobs. Plus, we're looking at a loss of $12 million in state and local taxes. And as of tonight, Hanjin is scheduled to pull out on March 9th. A devastating impact for the Port of Portland, but our Chris Holmstrom standing by, and he says we're all going to feel the effect. Chris?
That's right. It means goods will have to travel in and out of our area from Washington. Now, this could impact anything you buy that's shipped from Asia. At Glacier Tanks, goods come in, goods go out.
These are bright tanks and fermenters for the beer industry.
The local company sells to breweries and distilleries all over the world, but they're losing customers by the day.
We're running out. We've got empty shelves. And the breweries can't set up if they don't have the fittings.
They've been impacted by a slowdown at all West Coast ports that have been going on for months. And now the news of Hanjin pulling out is just adding to the chaos.
There's going to be a shortage of products availability throughout the industry. I mean, not just our industry, but most retailers.
In a statement, Hanjin tells us they had to do what's best for customers, to ship instead to Seattle, then transport goods by rail and truck to Portland.
Okay.
For you, that means delay.
I'm going to be talking with a friend later tonight who's been following the story, and I'll have more information for you next week. But this seems like a death blow to local businesses. Fred Meyer, Walmart, Costco, companies like that are not going to be affected like the local businesses. So the question is this being done by design? How do we know that it's not? This is really suspicious because there's more and more people, as you know, moving to Portland every single day. What do you mean business is slow? They have plans for what the city is going to look like in 10 years, 20 years, and they're probably going to have to update those plans as more and more people move here. So maybe this is being done deliberately to make the United States and Oregon more dependent on China to continue to cement those relationships, if you will. It'll be interesting to see how this develops over the next couple of years. As we see more people lose their jobs, by the way, as Al Jazeera has reported recently, more men globally are committing suicide, which is tragic. But I would also say that I think it's probably less about them losing their jobs and more about the reality that in this day and age, many women will leave their husbands and boyfriends if they have no income or if they lose their job. Hence, part of the motivation why I protested this weekend's Cuddle Convention, the first of its kind, which we're going to get into in just a little bit. But before we do, going now to number 7, armed carjacking suspect shot down in LA. We're seeing a lot of videos featuring carjackings around the United States.
We don't know where, not sure if he knows where either. He's just going through traffic as it's there. Now he's squeezing through.
He's wedged in there.
Stuck.
Here he goes again. This is, again, same type of technique. Basically running, came up to him. It looks like an SUV, a Lexus SUV. He's got, officers are in pursuit right now. This guy getting, other people trying to get away from him. Again, Jason, you got to move around. You got to move. You got to move. You got to move. Okay. It looks like he is down. The suspect is down. Suspect is down. Again, unsure what exactly transpired there. Again, suspect is down. Officers from the LAPD making their move right now, trying to get this guy into custody. You can see this has finally come to an end.
So, like I said, there's been a lot of videos. In just this week alone, I've seen over 10. And if you go to my YouTube channel, this would be a good time to bring up the graphic for my YouTube. I have a video that I uploaded showing a mother that in Dallas, she was hit by a suspect who stole a car. James, let's bring up my YouTube graphic. James? Oh, right. Thank you. If you go to my YouTube channel, I got a video there of a mother that was hit by a carjacked suspect. She got out of her van, pulled this guy out. I mean, this woman was brave. She also had her boyfriend with her. But that, I mean, you want to talk about mama bear trying to protect her own. Her child was in the car. So she got out of that car and just ripped this guy out, and they were on him before the police were there. So definitely a video you might want to check out at my YouTube channel, going back to the graphic. If you also want to contact me with any news tips locally, the email is alex_ansary@hotmail.com. There's also a backup email that you might want to use as a primary, and that is alexansary6@gmail.com. Any events happening in Portland, by the way, that you want me to know about or maybe cover, things of that nature, any news tips locally, globally, any other suggestions or comments, hate mail, love mail, and everything in between, those are the 2 emails. More videos at youtube.com/alexansary. Okay, moving on from that video and going on to number 8. And before we play that, give you a little preface. One thing that I've mentioned in the past is my disgust with the fact that ISIS is using my surname, Ansary. My last name does go back thousands of years, and it has its own interesting story. But the reality is a lot of people don't know that ISIS is funded by Western governments and Western intelligence. And so to see them hijack certain names and fund certain groups and then bring them out in the media and make them the enemy, it's a little alarming. And you know what? You know, there is no guarantee that there won't be some sort of problematic situation that at some point in my life I may have to deal with in a day and age where some people are flagged based on their names, things of that nature. So without further ado, going to MSNBC here.
In December 2012, just a few days after the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, the rather infamous Westboro Baptist Church of Topeka, Kansas, they announced plans that they would protest at a vigil for the victims of the Sandy Hook shooting. Not too long after their announcement, a barrage of personal contact information for Westboro Baptist Church members turned up online. The Twitter have been singled out for special treatment by Anonymous. That website didn't just get a denial of service attack today. They got all of their would-be viewers redirected to a very cute, super fast little search engine called DuckDuckGo. So you try to go to Ansar al-Haq, and instead you get to DuckDuckGo, which is nice. Ansar al-Haq has been described as being an online hub specifically for French Islamic extremists. So that may be why they received this special hacking attention today from Anonymous. And that hack appears to have stayed up all day. So there's a little bit of vigilante justice operating around this story now, for all that implies. But this hack, right, and this anonymous attack on terrorist
so you're
groups
getting
and
the
their
point,
operations
and
online.
it's a 20-minute video, and you can watch the whole thing on your own. But you know where I'm coming from. You know why I shared that. Because you've seen me get upset in other shows. you've seen me show concern about, what I could go through in the future. And I know that what we focus on, increases, but, it's also important to be practical about the real world we live in and the real things that actually are happening to people out there, whether or not you think that their karma attracted it or not, because plenty of bad things happen to good people, and that's just how things are on the earth. So it's not outside the realm of possibility for there to be an issue with travel. And I've already had to go through a body scanner once and go through the post pat down when I was leaving the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania airport in the year 2013, heading back to Colorado at that time when I lived there. But what will things be like in a couple of years? What if Ansar al-Islam groups start blowing things up in the United States? The question is, how long will I be safe, being that I'm someone on YouTube exposing government corruption in a day and age where some of those people are already targets, where white American men have been taken out of the game. So this is why I bring this to your attention. If I ever disappear on this planet, I want you to know why. Now, it's time to move on from that point. And thank you for playing that. So now we need to talk about the Cuddle Convention. Okay, we're talking about monetizing human love. And I got a problem with that. I don't have a problem with cuddling. It's when it's monetized, it changes the very energy of it. Now, Samantha Hess is the founder of Cuddle Up to Me. It's at the corner of 10th and East Burnside. What's interesting is that she's getting support from the mainstream media all over the world. Well, the mainstream media is usually pushing propaganda, and the mainstream media is usually trying to divide people. So when they're promoting human affection being monetized, it's totally playing in the agenda to divide man and woman and make everything about money and materialism, and I would say actually create more resentment against women. A lot of women out there don't want to be seen as gold diggers, but you know what? When women look at this, when women look at the example that Samantha Hess of Portland, Oregon is setting, they shake their heads and they're like, oh my God, what is this world coming to, and where are we going from here? And with that, here's a local news coverage of the event.
The first ever Cuddle Convention happening in Portland.
And of course, it's taking place on Valentine's Day, which is this Saturday. But if you want to get a little preview of what it is, Kyle Mackey is live at Cuddle Up to Me. And it looks like he's all dressed up in some sort of pillow with an opening for his face. What's going on?
Yes, that is correct. I mean, it is a cuddling convention. People like to dress up for conventions.
Kyle Mackey seems to be a Tom Green impersonator.
So, now, Samantha, this is a cuddle convention. Yes. I got to be honest with you. I haven't been cuddled in like 10 months. So this is a real treat for me, actually.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
Now, you mentioned something earlier about cuddle consent. What is that all about?
So we get to teach people how to interact with others in a safe and comfortable way, while also ensuring that everyone is being appropriate.
I like that. I like that. Well, I just want to let you know that I consent to your cuddling, so let's make our way in here. Now, do you mind if I'm the little spoon and you're the big spoon?
Absolutely. I'm
all right. Now, remind me to hold on to this outfit for Burrito Con as well, because it kind of fits both.
He looks like one of those sumo wrestlers, you know, that puts on the thing when they do the belly bumps.
Yeah.
Kyle,
I've seen enough.
You look like Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from...
Now, the next video comes from CNN. It was put out back in 2012. Samantha Hess may be spearheading something in the Portland area, but they're charging $13 for a hug in Japan, as this video from CNN shows.
A frenetic capital city, one of the largest and most densely populated anywhere in the world. Also famous for its tireless workers, or salarymen. And here in Tokyo's Akihabara district, a place that's known for quirky ideas, one former salaryman himself has come up with a very unique business. A co-sleeping specialty shop. Yes, people come here to cuddle, Masashi Koda tells me. Before you let your mind run wild, he says, yes, it is just cuddling, nothing more. Customers pay about $40 to sleep next to a girl for 20 minutes. Some customers are young men looking for simple companionship. 21-year-old Yuhei Hiroki visits the shop almost every day. He tells me, I like coming here. It's unique and relaxing. I try to stay awake because I enjoy talking with the girls.
Do you have a girlfriend?
No, I don't, he says. I never had a lot of chances to meet girls, so this is refreshing for me. 19-year-old Hina is a student. She works here part-time. She says most guys come here to relax and rest after working hard all day.
They've clearly hit a nerve.
One thing I want to say about Japan, my heart has always gone out to Japan because of how adulterated its country has become even before World War II. The stage was set and all that was set up, the whole Pearl Harbor thing, they let it happen so they can get us into a war. Japan has never been the same since. So there's a lot of weird things that are going on in Japan today, whether it be the radiation or other things, the social engineering. The more I hear about Japanese society today, it in a way breaks my heart because, you know, not everything from our past was all that peaceful. There certainly was a lot of war, and they have gone through a lot in their era with the shogun and the samurai. And the Japanese did not do the most moral things to the Chinese during the rape of Nanking during World War II, where they gang raped Chinese women for weeks upon weeks. The Nazis actually stepped in to stop it. That is what humankind is capable of. It's not about a race or a nationality. Mankind, men today, especially when you remove them from their mothers, especially when you remove them from love, they can be sent to war, and they can be convinced to kill the enemy and rape the enemy's woman. This is in the crazy psychosis in humanity, and it needs to be addressed because these things are happening. Now, here's the thing. What else is going on in Japanese society? You have sex robots. You have other things going on that are separating man and woman. So in Japanese society today, there are so many different ways that human affection is being monetized. Now, the next series of videos are videos that I have produced in the last 24 hours. The Cuddle Convention was yesterday, Valentine's Day, 2015. And the first nationwide convention took place here in Portland, Oregon. And here is a very short interview with one CuddleCon visitor. So what's your name?
Daryl.
Daryl? Well, thanks for talking to us. So how did you like the CuddleCon event?
So far it's going pretty good, and it's a gorgeous day for it.
Okay, so is it somewhat affordable?
Oh, absolutely.
So you said you've been to her business a few times, and you enjoy the services?
Yeah.
Do you feel like some men in today's society, though, are kind of used for their money in order to get affection? Do you think that there's kind of like a double-edged sword aspect to the whole thing?
Well, not with the CuddleCom and not with the Cuddle Up to me. I think Sam really provides more of a service than anything.
Okay. So are you leaving or coming back for the later event?
Oh, actually, I'm heading off to another event right now down at the Bossa Nova Ballroom.
Oh, okay. Where's that at?
Right down here.
Oh, okay.
It's between 8th and 7th Street.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I came here to demonstrate for men that have been left by their wives and girlfriends for lack of money. I respect you for being here. We all need affection, but I'm also here to represent, you know, the aspect of where do we end it? Do we start selling for you know, holding hands, things like that? Do you at least understand maybe my perspective?
Too well. I've been jilted most of my life.
So when you hear me megaphone, I'm not here to offend you. I'm just gonna, you know, spread the truth to all the people out there. And I apologize if the audio was a little loud. I was recording that with my laptop at the corner of 8th and East Burnside, one of the most gentrified parts of Portland, next to Hawthorne, next to Selwood, next to parts of North Portland, Alberta, Williams Avenue, Vancouver Avenue, and other areas. So you want to talk about, you know, gentrification on human growth hormone, man, you're looking at it in Portland. So isn't it interesting that cuddling is being monetized in a city like Portland, Oregon? And I was in the dating scene a couple years ago. I've opted out of it in the last year because there's a lot of insane, heartless women that are in Portland, Oregon, and I found that to be the truth. There's also some lovely women here. I think that we have been programmed not to trust each other. I think we've been programmed not to love each other without actually having, you know, money as something that kind of brings us together. And I'm willing to bet that there's a large number of women that went to this cuddle conference to get a hug because they have an inability, even within their own biology perhaps, to feel attracted to a man without wealth. So I think that there's probably a certain amount of women out there that would rather pay for a hug with another woman or with another man because for some reason, you know, there's just something really unsexy about a guy that's on the non-materialistic path. Now that has nothing to do with gender bashing. That has something more to do with a deeper conscious realization of what kind of world we're living in today. And it's a very different world, ladies and gentlemen, than the world some of you grew up in the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, it's a very different world than when I was younger. And so I don't think that there's a whole lot of debate about that. So we're asking ourselves, where is this going? Now on tonight's show, we're not going to get deep into technology and the virtual boyfriends and the virtual girlfriends. But I'll tell you what, that's a hot topic right now. Oh yeah, they've got all these robots. They're getting ready to police people by the year 2016. They're going to start having like robot police. I remember in 10th grade, I wrote a short story about the future of Portland. And I wasn't even into the stuff then, but it was 2035 and I got in a time machine and I got out of 12th and Hawthorne and I was immediately put into a camp because I did not have my authorization tag. But I was put into a camp by a robot. I was taken away. It's like unauthorized wild human, unauthorized wild human, and it's like, how do we know that the future of Portland isn't going to be a city that's actually run by robots? But the more we look at autonomous cars, the more we look at Big Brother, you know, the more we look at technology and this conversation about the singularity and the conversation about what will the new man be in this plan for 2045, you know, the new species of man, the integration with technology, it is happening. And so they have these gadgets now. A person sent me a link where man and woman are connecting on Skype and they put these devices on and you can cuddle someone, you can tickle someone, you can stroke their cheek, and you know they're going to receive these impulses from this technology that they put on their body. We're going into a new world really fast. Okay, Samsung TVs are spying on you. In addition, Bill and I and James were talking last week in the parking lot, and we're noticing that certain things that we talk about that are in our conversations are popping up on the ads. They are actually, the robots, this giant database, it's extracting what you're saying, not only in Samsung, but other TVs, putting this giant database and then marketing certain products to you based on what they're hearing in the background. That's open surveillance and giving information to third parties. And then what did Samsung do? They came back and said, well, watch what you say. Watch what you say. Not, we're not doing anything, just watch what you say. Very, very revealing. So in a future episode, we'll get more into the technologies that mankind and womankind are turning to meet their emotional needs. Right now, for a lot of today's women, it's the cell phone. It's having that, you know, connection. You know, instead of gazing into water and, you know, being in deep meditation and prayer and connecting with the spirit, there's a lot of gazing at the cell phone. It's almost as if like it's in our primitive instinctual nature to stare and, you know, mirror on the wall. And instead of like Nostradamus staring into water, you know, we're staring into these LCD screens where there's probably some hypnotic energies going on, subliminals. We know at the very least someone could be put into a trance state by watching too much TV. We know about the flicker rate from analog TVs. Now that everything has gone digital, it's opened up a whole new brave world of possibilities. So I did megaphone this event, and the response was fairly interesting. I know that it can be intense to be on the receiving end of my megaphone, so I try to keep it down to a few minutes. Here's footage from that event.
$4,000 for this event. Look
Break it down.
I talked to that guy who had that sign, that shirt, free hugs. He was definitely sending me some, you know, affection, if you will, long distance from across the street. Well, most of the people are just like, oh my God, what is going on? But it wasn't all intense. Going to the next video, I took a few minutes to rest. This is a higher end bed that they have. I want to get to the
you gotta, put your head here. Okay, find a place in between the slats and put your shoulder and arm. Go a little bit to the middle. Now just stick on your side. Okay, move a little bit back.
I just want one of these. Can I have one of these?
And just place your arm here.
Okay.
Okay, and your shoulder arm. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Oh.
No, it's not like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, put all your shoulder and arm here. And that's good. I didn't think of that.
Well, some people put their head in the sand. Okay, what were you saying? Put your shoulder here?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works.
Well, you know what? I want to one of these. Now, going back to the megaphoning, we're going to go now to video number 14. The police were called.
$20. Oh, by the way, this isn't really all that original. They're selling hugs in Japan to men for $13 right now. This is not just happening in Portland. You gotta pay $13 for a 5-second hug in Japan. I do this in memory of every man that put the gun in his mouth and pulled the trigger. After the women left them, after they lost their jobs, after they lost their homes, after they lost everything.
How's it going?
What's you up to?
Doing about 15 minutes of free speech. What are you up to on this lovely Valentine's Day?
That's totally fine. The city code prevents noise amplifier. So
well, I've done this about 20 times in Portland. I think that this is selective enforcement. I've never really had issues before.
Okay, I understand you're trying to put on a show here. You're being videotaped. There's people over there. But let me just say, we have multiple callers on somebody. We show up. Hey,
Multiple
So
callers.
you can't be using the noise amplifier. I don't care if you're I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't really care.
I know you don't care.
But what I'm saying is that's the freedom of speech. Is that
but I also understand selective enforcement. So, you know, we're on the same page.
Well, I don't
You're choosing to
understand what the
enforce
selective
this,
enforcement
whereas
is.
many other times when I'm protesting or going downtown, there's a protest tonight. That's totally normal, and that's part of Portland culture.
Well,
That's what we do.
I've never seen an amplifier before that I have enforced, so I'm not doing selective policing. I've always enforced it when I've seen an amplifier.
Is that because you're a younger cop? Is that because you're the new generation of law enforcement?
That has nothing to do with that.
How long have you been on the force? Are you from Portland? How long have you been on the force?
Let me talk.
No, I'm asking the questions now. I set the megaphone down. No, I'm not going to play your game.
I'm not going to play your game. Just
okay, then get in your car and leave.
No, listen. Keep it down. Don't use the amplifier.
No, we're done talking.
Okay.
No, we're done talking.
No, we're not.
And I'm not done yelling. I'm going to yell now without the megaphone.
That's fine. Just don't use the megaphone. So, you got it?
You know about Top Off 4?
I don't care about that.
No. Are you just like a new officer? They're just here to enforce the state's laws.
All I'm here to do is to tell you to stop talking to the microphone. Otherwise, we're going to keep getting calls. People are going to keep calling us. We're going to have to come back, all right?
No, I understand.
Perfect. All right.
But I didn't get an answer yet. How long have you been on the force? Okay. And are you a native-born Portlander? Or are you just another one of these welfare recipients that's taking a job with the state, and instead of actually dealing with real crime, you're actually coming here and telling me not to use my free speech because it's a loud megaphone? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. And you know what? People like you are going to have to deal with the scum that's going to be moving to Portland. Okay? Wake up. We're actually trying to do something positive for our community. They're monetizing human relationships over here. Okay? That's not normal. It's totally normal for people or for men to actually talk about something that's important. What's alien is people thinking that it's okay for men to be left in the street that actually give a damn about this country and give a damn about this community and give a damn about women's rights. Women's rights worldwide. What this is about. I just puked in your arms tonight. Must have been something you charged. I had a lot of music I didn't get to play that night or that late afternoon. Let me just say that I know that I can come across really intense, and I have sympathy for those. I have empathy for those that are on the receiving end of my megaphone. And I am totally cognitive of how certain styles of using it can hurt the eardrums, but I do just want to state that I was across the street and I was only intending to megaphone for 10 minutes. This was not after an hour of megaphoning, of which I've done in Portland many times. I even screamed about 9/11 in 2006, the first time that I actually grabbed a hold of a megaphone and took my truth on the 4th of July and megaphoned a whole crowd of people watching the World Cup at Pioneer Courthouse Square. That was empowering, and that was a big moment for me at the age of 26. Now at the age of 34, almost moving into 35, I care less about receiving love from today's programmed woman that has been receiving the princess propaganda. And yes, there's another movie out now, there's Frozen, and there's other things, and all this is warping the minds of children, not to mention some of the sexual stuff. But that aside, the point is I care more about helping men and women see the truth than receive praise. So when I go out and do these things, a lot of support comes, but also a lot of criticism as they show up in the YouTube comment section and elsewhere, as I'm glared at in the street, as I'm glared at in the supermarket. But you know what? After years of doing this show and dealing with people's backlash energy, I've gotten used to it. And I am more interested in reaching people with the truth than actually impressing people, especially women of today's society. Having said that, before we go to the next video, so after the cop left, I picked up the megaphone and I shared one more quote from a female viewer of mine. And she felt that the whole thing's disgusting, the monetizing of human relationships. And a tattoo artist, and I believe he works out of that tattoo parlor at 9th and East Burnside, starts running across the street at me like he's going to smash my head in. And so a friend of mine watched this video, and she said she felt that I was the aggressor. And I can understand how that perspective could be seen, but the reality of what you don't see is the other 8 minutes, because it was at this point that Aaron's camera went dead. My friend Aaron E.T., you can find him on Facebook, that was there filming. And contact me if you'd like to join me in future events and outreaches, because it's really better to go with 2, 3, 4 people as backup or people to film what happens. It's very difficult when you have one person there who is basically having guys get up in his face, as you can see in this video, saying, don't film this. And so that's why you don't see what follows. I don't push the guy when you see me moving forward. I do a forward Aikido roll on the concrete, which I've always enjoyed doing since I was a kid. I've always enjoyed rolling around. I don't really do cartwheels, but I did a forward roll on the concrete in kind of a, okay, you want to act like you're going to smash my teeth in? Go ahead. But as a man, you know, I'm going to be respectful of other people, but I'm also not going to just bow down literally to a group of thugs with demon tattoos all over them, and I'm not going to obey their commands to just leave a spot. You know, but if someone wants to come up and be polite and, oh, I don't know, not engage in slapping my friend's camera, I'm more willing to listen. But I consider it insulting and aggressive when you dare touch the property of my friend. So with that, we're going to play this 2-minute video.
Okay. Okay, can you turn that off and I'll shake your hand.
Oh, you're going to come in. If you insist, then I obey.
Please, just please, because we have a lot of customers over here.
It's how you ask.
How you doing? You might not.
No, see, he did that 3 times.
No, don't you touch him at all. Don't you touch him at all.
Touch the
camera.
camera.
You weren't doing nothing. Walk across the street.
I was just touching
Walk
the camera,
across the
dude.
street.
Okay?
No.
Yeah, you know, if
you want to sit there and tattoo demons on you? You want to tattoo demons on you? You want to tattoo fucking killing people on you? Let me see what kind of art. Let me see what kind of art you put on your arms. Do you have anything there that deals with? You walk towards us. You walk towards us.
You
walk towards us.
You are actually making a scene, and
now you're in my face, literally. You're in my face, literally.
You don't touch me, motherfucker. I will knock you the fuck out.
Alex,
okay?
the camera away right now.
He's gonna threaten me.
Don't fucking record this.
See, that's threatening right there.
No, you just put your hands on me.
Because he touches property.
It's a hate crime that what you guys are doing. Just go away.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're disturbing our business.
Dude, I told you no one's filming.
Okay. Go get the fuck out of here. Good for you. Get the fuck out of here. Well, you got. All right, well, touch him and it's over. So just get the fuck out of here. Hey, you fucking stood up to my boy.
Either you ever said anything about the criminality going on?
I don't. Listen, I don't give a shit.
I know you don't. You're in my face repeatedly.
You are in my face with a fucking megaphone, you piece of shit.
You touch his property.
He's filming me. I did not give him permission.
Well, you might assault him. We need to film it.
I'm not assaulting. I said get your shit and get the fuck out of here, okay?
Keep playing the visuals.
Hit me. Hit me.
Let's go.
No.
Hey,
go ahead.
Hey, what are you?
Go ahead. Fuck you, man. Come on, go ahead and hit me. Come on. Come on. You think you got something?
Okay, so to some people, it seems like I'm the aggressor. I take a little offense to that. The guy clearly assaulted the camera several times. I always get a little talked to when the profanity comes in, but that is something that sometimes I feel needs to be shown to keep the story accurate. I don't share the same beliefs that other people do when it comes to language. So that's why sometimes I show things in the raw form, because I know the audience of this show is mature enough to deal with a few words. So that's just how it is. But for the most part, I do try to keep the profanity out of the shows. But again, sometimes it's important for the relevance. So, Tom, Bill, we need to speed it up. We need to, guys, control room. We need to now move forward to the next clip, which is 16. We're going to play a clip from this video. And I gave you the specified time. For it.
It's ridiculous.
Oh, let me preface this. I'm sorry. Let me take a deep breath. That video, watching that, just got me just a little heated, just kind of reliving it. And that was probably one of the more intense moments. Okay, we have very little time left. There's a couple people, a couple men out there that responded to some of the videos that I've made about the cuddle houses. They're not in Portland, but they're viewers of mine on YouTube. And they had a couple thoughts that they wanted to add in terms of this whole cuddle house situation. This is from one of the commentators.
Here's the deal here. This cuddle house thing proves one thing, okay, is that TFL is real, and this whole idea that men are now going to have to even not just pay for sex. They're not going to be able to get sex. Of course, we say it's illegal. But now they've made it so that it's legal to pay to cuddle, to take a human emotion, something like bonding, and charge money for it. It's ridiculous. And you know, this is, it shows you how, you know, they showed pictures of women cuddling with other women, and I think there might have been some where there were women paying to cuddle with men, but we all know where this is going. We all know that this is going to be good-looking guys, even average-looking guys having to pay to cuddle with women. And it's disgusting. Okay. You know, it is absolutely disgusting that it's really gotten down to this.
James.
And we are so disconnected in our society. And
done. Okay, preparing the next one, because, you know, we're running out of time here. The show's about over. We need to now go to number 17. And this is from
Alex brings up some interesting points, and I don't know, I did a post or something on one of his videos, and it just, I don't know what happened there, it just disappeared. But I'll reiterate in the response that I did, and I'll carry it over to this video. Basically, what I see what's going on with this convention thing, and it even says in the website. What's the website say? Cuddle Con? Yeah, it sure is. It's a con. And that in and of itself is, it's just, I understand the reasoning behind it. You know, lonely guys out there finally getting a chance to get with, you know, the opposite sex, even just to hold her and everything, but it's just another means of that separation. Whoever's trying to bring it together is doing it for what I'd consider the wrong reasons. And when you throw money into the mix, yes, it brings people together, but for what purpose? And that in of itself is not fair. We as a society have actually been really not connecting like we once did. Even more so now that we're hooked to our computers and everybody's got a cell phone, and they can, like George Carlin said, everybody's got a cell phone that can make pancakes. You know, I mean, he's right, and he would have been talking even further if he was still alive today, to talk about how messed up things are in this society.
Okay,
and I've noticed
that's a good place to stop and wrap things up. One tip that I have for Samantha Hess, a suggestion, and she's the one putting on this conference, along with another gentleman that I spoke to. He actually talked about taking a loss of $4,000 for this event. Apparently she had investors. I don't really know why she needs investors when she's making several $1,000s a month, up to $7,200 a month, as reported by the Young Turks. My suggestion would be to help people find each other. David, this is Jennifer. Jennifer, this is David. I think you two should meet. You know, instead of people just, you know, staring at each other over like lunch and doing like 10-minute dates. No. Actually hook people up, have them cuddle, and if things work out for them, boom. You just help two people out. That's what love is, Samantha. However, if you want people to become dependent on you to be the cuddle pimp, because that's what it is, to go through you, to set it up, to put together the event, then that you're only doing this for yourself. And the question is, if you really believe in karma, my love and light sister, when you are charging men for something that should be free, and you are stirring up painful emotions in men that either are low income or are adamantly against them being subjectified based on how much money they have, then you're hurting people. And then it calls into question, is this really right? And so these are things that we're going to ask ourselves, along with what does it mean to be human as we move into this future? Just because we can simulate a sense of love by cuddling or having sex with a robot or a robot human doesn't necessarily mean that it's love. So we're going to continue to talk about these issues and so many more, but we are now out of time. Until next week, I'm Alex Ansary, reminding you that the path to the ultimate truth and place of power still lies within. Take care. Stay safe. Good night.